So what's up, Freedom Foods family? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. This is my very old dear friend Santa. No, just kidding. Lars.
I just
Lars
played
Jacobson.
that in December.
Yeah. Yeah. Lars, me and Lars were business partners for what, 10 years. We were running the same company. We've done a lot together. Lars knew me when I was cool, before I did the farm stuff. Okay,
Fresh out of high school, I think, Russ.
yes, 18 years old. Yeah, I was 18 years old when we met. Shoot, now I'm what, 29. So
just turned 29 earlier this year. Yeah.
Well, known Lars for a long time. Lars is a very good guy. Lars actually. 2017, we're working on a project to go over to his house, and he drops a bomb on me. Lars says, I'm moving to Idaho. So we're in Southern California, and he tells me, yeah, I'm moving to Idaho with his 10 kids. And I go, what? What are you doing that for? And he goes, I've been looking at this farming stuff. And I went, okay, one, okay, that's out of left field. Two, that just something that I wouldn't expect from Lars. But at the same time, it kind of piqued my interest because I've always wanted to, I've talked about this before, I've always wanted to retire onto a farm.
I didn't know that.
I didn't really broadcast that out to anybody, but it was just my long-term vision. I said, 50, 60 years old, I go out to a big farm in Montana, have a spread, and it'd be cool.
And this is in 2017, so you're like 23 or something? What are you, 24?
Shoot, yeah, something like that. Yeah, right around there.
Mm-hmm. A 23 or 24-year-old is thinking about retiring in his 60s on a farm in Montana.
Start at the end and then figure out how to get there. But so it just piqued my interest, and I remembered it. And he showed me some videos he was watching on YouTube, and I didn't put two and two together at the time because I look at the thumbnails, and I distinctly remember watching or seeing a thumbnail of Justin Rhodes milking one of his cows in his stanchion, just out of sight, out of mind. Didn't even read the title. Okay. Lars moves to Idaho. We still stay in contact and everything. And me being real estate, I flipped houses and stuff. I'm always looking at that kind of thing. Somehow it popped up in my feed to where Joel Salatin did a video of Justin Rhodes where you buy land for $43 an acre, and I went, okay, I gotta see this. And that started the ball rolling. That night, I think I started that video at like 9 o'clock. I didn't go to sleep. Didn't sleep at all, and I went, because it was Joel Salatin video after Joel Salatin video after Josel Salatin video, and I went,
he has an effect like that on people, doesn't he?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really nuts. So, next day, I actually go down to the beach. Okay, I rarely go to the beach. I went down to the beach and just relaxed there for a little bit. Had a book, had a little bit of time before a meeting in the morning, and I call Lars because it just kind of put two and two together. I went, hey, that farming thing. You ever hear of a guy named Joel Salatin?
No, I never heard of him. I read a stack of books this big as his.
And it was funny. It just we started talking about it and how it makes so much sense, and how that's originally what you wanted to do up in Idaho. Instead of buying a farm, he bought a town. Yeah, pretty cool. Right on the Canadian border. I went up there. What was it? September of
2019. Yeah, just
beautiful place.
Yeah,
right on the river. Great. What's it called? Jake's Landing.
We named it Jake's Landing after my father, who had recently passed away, and I used to call his parents, Grandma and Grandpa, Jake for Jacobson. So yeah, we honored them and called it Jake's Landing.
Really beautiful place. Now, he bought town. I ended up buying the farm. Lars been watching all the YouTube videos.
Everyone. Yep.
And next thing you know, he calls me up. He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna be in Texas, and hey, you know that the town that I bought? Yeah, I'm raising chickens in a Joel Salatin style chicken tractor on it." And I went, "Oh shoot, you didn't tell me that. How many chickens did you raise?"
We did a little over 100.
In a town, in a yard.
Well, I mean, it's a small little, it's unincorporated. It's all the businesses in what's called Port Hill, Idaho, right at the border. It is the border, and Ryan, you heard my dreams. Everything you're doing here is what I told you I was going to go do, and then God went and said buy this place, and so that dream kind of went to the side a little bit. And last spring I'm like, I just felt I got to do something, right? So what's the easiest thing to start? Chickens.
Yeah.
You know, so they're just running around on the grass in our yard. You know?
And you don't need a huge spot for it either. You
No,
can do
no.
it in a just, but you know, you can grow your own food anywhere. How they taste.
Oh my gosh, these are the best chickens I've probably ever had. Yeah, there's no
awesome.
doubt. No doubt. We have a big smoker. We like smoking them. We put them in the crock pot. We put them in the oven. My wife's done. We've done them all sorts of different ways, and they taste awesome. Grow your own chick. Try it. Even if you just try it with like 10 or 20, just try it. You know.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
All right. So Lars is gonna come with me around the farm, do all the necessary farm stuff, and we'll come back and talk to you later. Okay? Cool. What's up, babies? Huh? Did you guys mess up your thing again? That's something we got to fix today. See, I took a piece of an old shed and try and keep them separated, and we got to make sure that happens. Hey, 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 good girls, get back, okay? We'll feed you, and then we'll get this all taken care of. No, horses, they like you.
Hey guys.
Look at that.
Hey ladies.
Babies, everybody good? You have more than enough hay, and you've broken into the barns or in the stalls. Why have you done that, huh? Did you? What's up, Ranger? Getting big. Come on. You let me touch you finally? It's okay. Easy, easy. Okay, come on. Come on. No? Okay, I took a step. Shouldn't have taken a step. So Lars, you did chickens in Idaho.
Yes.
Okay. How did you have them set up? Was it anything similar to this, or explain your chicken tractor that you did?
Well, it's very similar to this. I didn't have Joel's design yet. His book hadn't come out. You know the one. I went to Jason from Sow the Land. I don't know if you know him, but you know, I call him my good friend Jason from Sow the Land, the friend I've never met, okay? Because he had a plans for a small little 4x6, I think it was. And I'm like, I don't need them very big. I'm only gonna get 30. But then I thought, well, maybe let me make it bigger, you know? And so I made it 8x10 because you can get a 8-foot 2x4 and a 10-foot 2x4. And so I kind of adapted it. I'm not a builder, I'm not a contractor, I don't really know what the heck I'm doing. It was pretty sad. Okay, so I followed it and stuff, but well, what size is this?
8x8.
Okay, so it's almost exactly identical. So this, if that folds back like that, like the top, I had 10 foot this way, 8 foot that way, and I would fold it back. Hardware cloth, just like you said. And it was, I put 50 birds in there eventually because we got 30 to begin with, 32, and then I got another 100 3-4 weeks later. And it's heavy. I split my 2x4s to make them 2x2s, cheaper, you know, and stuff with the cost of lumber. And it's almost identical to this, folds back just like that.
What'd you use for the, like, I have the vinyl, corrugated vinyl here. What'd you use for that?
So if you go to check us out, you'll see that we have been in an extremely negative situation with our business, Jake's Landing, at the border. And we've been 2.5 years, you know, the border just barely open, and it's not even all the way open. And I watch my channel, you'll know more about that. But it devastated our business. Like, we lost 95% of our business the day they closed the border on March 21st, 2020. I know the exact date. And you can see by the bank account what happened. We've just been devastated from that. So going and buying a lot of the materials, I was finding spare pieces. My mom had lumber on her property. My brother grabbed for me, and I was splitting those. And, you know, they were really old, and so I'd cut them, and then they'd have a knot like this right here, okay? Well, guess what happened after about 2 or 3 days on the second one that I built with a knot right there? It was right there. This whole thing, I couldn't fix it. I didn't, whatever. We just dealt with it. But as far as, you know, that's a long answer to your question. This stuff is not cheap.
No.
I mean, it's like an 8-foot piece is like $20 or $15, depending where you're at, and you need a.
I think these were 22 back in 2020, so now they're probably like, I think the last time I checked, they're $27 a piece. So.
Okay, so they're even more than I thought. my brother had found a lady, a couple who was tearing off their tin roof, and he went and got a bunch of stuff, and I just used that. You know, it's all I had.
Hey, it
works.
works.
All I could do.
It worked. Kept the chicken safe.
Chickens, they need shelter. You know, if it's drafty, okay. But we were in the summer, and it was one of the hottest summers up in Northern Idaho. I mean, it was in the 90s for like almost, I don't even know how many days. As far as July and August go, it was mostly in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too much.
You're telling us.
Okay, for us, it was
108.
You know, I built the second tractor, and I didn't even really get it finished because every day I was like, oh, I didn't get it done. I got to finish it. Oh, I thought I could get this work done faster. Oh, my boys can't help me today. You know, and finally I said, the chicks can't stay in the brooder like this. It's just, they're too big. It's too hot. And so we just threw them in, you know, and covered it up the best that we could. It kept everybody out. We didn't lose anybody to a predator that I'm aware of. We didn't find any chicks out that were pulled outside or something got in. And so to predators, no, nothing. The chicks don't care. Like Jill Southton says, the chickens
as long
don't
as they're
care.
safe, they're happy, right?
And we didn't lose any to predation, so I was very happy with that. And I just moved them. Like, you've got acreage here. I just had lawn. And the funny thing is, funny, sad, whichever you want to call it, in June, we had rain, we had all this great stuff. It was wonderful, wasn't too hot, all those things. And I probably had grass this high. You know, I wasn't going to mow it, right? I had grass this high because I'm moving them. By the time July rolls around and I'm trying to, you know, it's starting to, and then by the end of July, and then by August, this just looks brown everywhere because, you know, it was just, I'm trying to water a little bit and do that, whatever. It just didn't have, you know, what's so interesting is Salatin will tell you, you know, all that nitrogen, move it, blah, blah, blah. I see squares of green coming back.
So it looked like, look, check this out behind us. Look at this runway right here. You can totally see it. So did it look like this? Crazy. Some people say, "Oh, chickens, they don't work. They don't do well for the land."
You can see it right there. You can see it. Look.
So that's what. So in Idaho, it does the same thing. Same thing as Texas. It brings the land back.
Soil is soil. Grass is grass. Unless you put something on it to literally destroy it, like Roundup or something, I don't know. It's going to do it.
It's going to bounce
back. And even if you had soil that had all those problems, by continuing to nourish and do rotational and do all those things, it's going to come back. Okay, the ground will heal itself. Okay, you just help it out a little bit by not overdoing it. Now, limited experience. You have way more experience. I have read a lot. You've probably read more than me by now, though, because you really took off and I went another direction with the business of Jake's Landing. But yeah, chickens aren't hard, but I will say, and I've said on my videos, to go from 30 to 130, that was a little bit, you know, it's like, oh, if you got to move one, you can move two, right? If you're going to feed 50, you can feed 100, right? That's all true. But the necessity to make sure they go through food faster, they go through the water faster, they definitely, you know, are kicking out the back end a lot more, right? So if you are too busy one day and you can't move them, you wait till the next day, you go, yeah, that's a lot of on the ground, right? You know, so there is a little bit of a adjustment. I will say that. In processing, we process our own chickens. I've never done it before, so I'm like watching Salatin, you know, all his, you know, and then I go out, you know, okay, hang them upside down, cut here, you know, do this, do that, cut, you know, pull, you know, all this stuff. It probably took us like 4 hours to do 16 birds because I went in and out for like the first 7 or 8, you know, making sure. It took us about five times to do the 100 and whatever birds that we had. You know, we had some losses and things, just normal stuff. But it probably took us, I think, about 5 or 6 times where we were doing somewhere between 16, 18 to like 25 birds each time. It was a lot.
Would you process them again if you had an option to have somebody else do it? So
by the time we processed like the 3rd or 4th time, I was really good at it. Nowhere near as good as Joel.
Yeah.
The guy is just, he could do it with his eyes closed. You know, he could have a sharp knife and just feel the chicken, and he'd know where to cut, and he wouldn't even nick himself, right? You know, the guy's incredible. But, excuse me, I got a bug. Okay, that's being a farmer. And you can see this is real stuff. But yes, I would do it again, but I would also consider, you know, having someone, taking him somewhere, because I got to teach people. That was really cool. So people, you know, by the time we got to the 4th time, I'm pretty comfortable. And so I taught some friends, and they came over, and you know, 5th time, and we did that. If we could find it so that it was economical enough to do it, you know, maybe $3. You know, I know in our area we had someone that used to do it for $3. I don't know if they still do it for $3, but I wanted the experience. I wanted to grow the chickens. I wanted to raise them. I wanted to see what it took. I wanted to process them. I wanted to learn that skill. And now I'm teaching other people. Man, that is so cool, you guys. Just go do it. Get the experience. Even if you mess up, the knowledge, okay? Now you can share it. That's, to me, I'm a teacher. That's what I've done my whole life in entrepreneurial stuff. You know, had the great blessing to travel around this beautiful country of ours and teach people about entrepreneurial stuff. And that's just in my blood. So to learn something, get pretty good at it, and then teach other people about it. Could I get better about it? Well, sure, everybody, you know, everybody, right? But I'm gonna tell you, so for me, make these as light as possible, right? So I would use, well, Joel's new book, for what it came out July or
February.
Did it come out in February?
I think January.
Well, okay,
February.
so it was out before, but I had Jason's stuff, so I went with that. But make it light. You definitely want something like you have.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Why don't I show you how I do this, and you can go through and critique, because I'm gonna go pretty heavy in the chickens next year. That's the plan. Go through and see, okay, what can I do differently? How can I build this differently? And I'll show you my process of how to do it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me some of the things you were gonna change.
Feed bucket, water, over here, okay? To where it's going to the next spot. Dolly, come here, flip and kick. Come over here, grab this, lean back, move, done.
Nice.
Come back, lift, next one. Okay, these are a little bit heavy, especially, it's gotten lighter since the wood's dried out, but it's still almost, I think it's still almost too heavy. But I did that in what, 30 seconds? Not too bad, right?
I don't even think it took 30 seconds.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, Lars, tell me what you do.
Ryan just moved this. Now, there was a little bump over here, so we just scooted a little bit more. But you made these with 2x4s.
Yeah.
I remember watching your video when you made them, and you're like, I'm just gonna use 2x4s. And I remember thinking, Ryan, that's gonna get heavy, right? You made the top with 2x2s.
Yeah,
I definitely stick with that. I agree with cutting, stripping these, you know, ripping them right down the middle.
Okay.
You know, the 2x4s, unless you can just go get, I'm trying to save because of my situation. Maybe many of you out there, you're like, I don't got a lot to start this gig, you know. So start with 30, get 2x4s, right down the middle, you know, whatever you need to do. You don't have to make it 10x8, you don't have to make it 8x8, make it 4x6, okay? Just something, and do 15 chickens, 20, 30 chickens, you know? But definitely 2x2s here. I put a support here, but I put the support so that it was on top of there.
Okay, on top.
And under here.
Okay.
So what that did for me anyways is it cut out, because you've got about, well, the 3.5 inches on the 2x4 side right here. So that was less weight, right? Okay. But yet it still had the support. I didn't do these here, but I did like these in the corners.
Okay.
Because I didn't think this was going to have a lot of weight here, but the corners, you know, and you know, you're trying to lift sometimes and pull, and that to me, I don't know that I needed those. I don't think I did them on the second one. We were rushed. Okay, so like over here, you did that. So you put it on the top. Right?
Oh yeah.
But I would make that a 2x2.
Okay.
At least that's what.
Which one are you talking about? You talking about
this one here?
This one right here?
No, this. Well, yeah, that.
Okay, that and the support. Okay.
Yeah. And how you have the support there on these two, you've got the top, right? So I had hinges, so I lifted the whole thing over and it would lay on this. So you're gonna have a little bit extra weight right here. And this was my 10-foot, this was my longer side. Okay. So these supports right here, I definitely put them there. Okay. I think that was really important here. And I had the whole thing, you know, come up. I didn't have any of this on my tractor lid,
no. Okay, we just had it open.
I just had it here. I just had it here.
Okay.
And that was all open. Now, if you want more shade for them, maybe in your area you want more shade. Yeah. Maybe you're hot and you don't, or you're warm enough, but it's, you know, you got trees. You don't need. I would tell you, we were hot, not Texas hot, but it was hot for us. 90 something every day and no rain for like 2 months. Yeah. I would find in the middle of the day the chickens were back there. Yeah. Okay, well that's what it's for. Good. If you see that your chickens are kind of, their mouth is a little open and they're kind of like panting a little bit, they're trying to cool down. Grab a hose, don't shoot it at them, you know, but put a nozzle on or just use your thumb and spray them down. I did that with birds that I was raising, you know, because we did like finches, cockatiels, parakeets, lovebird, you know, my brother and I from way back in the 80s and 90s. And we would just spray them down. The chickens will love it. Oh, they'll run around, they'll, you know, but they love it. It cools them down immediately, you know, to get that water on there. If they want it off, you know, their feathers, you know, they'll get it off. Especially ducks will get it off fast, right? But we would spray the chickens on the hottest days, especially on the hottest part of the day. We thought that would last a few weeks like normal. Typically in Idaho, about a week to 10 days in August is when we hit our 90s, but we had it for 2 months. I mean, there was a few days in the 80s, but it was mostly 2 months. With I don't even think measurable rain for the months of August and July. But so give you know, spray your chickens down. One thing that I did do, I didn't utilize it because I just had to get it built. But one thing that that Jason had in his design, and I'm going to do this. He had a little door right back here. Okay. Got to be the biggest genius thing I've ever seen with chicken tractors, next to Joel Salton coming up with this. I know some people don't like this, they want this, but I have wins, okay, so I didn't feel comfortable with that, okay, so I needed it low to the ground. But he had a little door here.
Could they go out?
No, it was a door, right? You lock it, okay? It was just, well, here, you want to get a chicken for processing. You open that up. Here, chickie. Here, chickie. Oh, thanks for coming right over. It's in the corner. And guess what's all right here? Poop.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. That wasn't fun.
Okay? So my kids are trying to get it, you know, we move it so at least it's not poop, you know, and stuff. And we're trying. No. When these birds are ready for processing, they're big. Let them out. I let the birds out sometimes. Okay? Run around. A Cornish cross is not going to run around in 8 weeks. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Now, the big reds we got from McMurray, they would run, but they couldn't run much. We could catch them because when they were ready for processing, they're big. Well, if you got a little door right there, open it up. Go like this. I guarantee one's going to go out. Walk or 2 or 3. Let 10 run around. It was no problem. Close the door. Grab one, put it in the cone.
Okay, so when we had to process, we took ours to USDA processing plant. We had to do it early in the morning. So I got up, first light was out here, starting to get them going, and logistically it was terrible because I had to take the chicken, I had to walk all the way to the car, put it in the back of the Suburban, walk back, and I tried using the chicken crates. Those weren't working. I had to get inside here, and I'm 6'3". This is 18 inches to 2 feet tall. That's not gonna work, okay? So, what I did was I needed to think on the fly. Found some empty laundry baskets, okay? What I did is I got in here and would try and use these to go into the back and herd them over and catch them like this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4 in here, and then run back all the way to the car, come back and do it again.
You would get 4. You'd be lucky enough to scoop 4. I guess when there's a lot of them.
Well, it's a cage too, so you put it like that. You get down underneath there, try and scoot them over.
So if you only caught 1, you would wait till you got 4, till you caught 4 and put them in there.
I would wait till I caught 4 until I take them back.
Yeah.
So this was a nightmare to do a door, and like what I'm even thinking, you're giving me really good ideas. Is what if we made a chicken tractor without a lid? Okay. So where it's real light, you can come move it, or like a dog cage. Put it right next to the door, and then let them all come in and close the door, and now they're all in a pen with no top. So you can go through, pick them up, rather than have them run around.
How are you going to prevent predators?
No. Just that be as a processing thing.
At the end.
At the end.
Got it.
Very last time. You take that. It doesn't even need to be this big. It just be, you know, dog cage size or whatever. Just enough to go here. Put it there, herd them all out, close the gate, and now it's just fish in the barrel kind of thing.
You know, I think I have seen that. You're saying that. I like it. I think I have seen some people put out like some the chicken wire, chicken netting. What do you call that from?
Electric net.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Around and shoo them in there. And yeah, same thing. But I'm telling you, you don't even need the net. I'm telling you, you don't need the cage. Skip that whole expense. Skip that whole part. Just push them out. Because push out 10, okay? They will not go anywhere. I promise you.
My thinking is, could I even build a ramp to put them directly into the car? Will they walk up?
Well, you do that and tell me.
I like making things as easy as possible. See, I move animals.
They will not go anywhere. We got to the point, Ryan. You know how a lot of people experience. They'll have some leg problems and stuff. You know. Yeah. We would just pull those out every morning, and we just leave them out there, okay? Now, we leave the top open. I would leave the top open like this, okay? And the big reds, and sometimes one of the Cornish crosses, they would jump up and they would perch on top of the water, right? And from there, they could fly out, right? So with some of them, we would come back, you know, in the afternoon or whatever, and they're out. Oh no, they're out. It's going to take forever to. They're not. when they're 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but 7 and 8 weeks. Even when they're getting out of 5 weeks, if you have one other person, and I mean like a 4-year-old, you know, just stand there and go like this, sweetie. As you're fine. I'm telling you, you're fine. There's no problem. They will not run away.
That was a big issue because that's not fun to try and
the big reds will run away. Those freedom range, they will run away. They are fast. They're agile. You know, that'll be harder. Okay, but I'm talking about Cornish cross.
So Lars, let me show you how me thinking ahead set up for the chickens. Everybody knows I have a lane down the middle of the pasture. Okay, it goes 1,000. It's about 1,000 feet straight. Divides the pasture up. Straight down the middle. Each side of the lane is 300 feet long. Okay, let's do some math real quick. The chickens are on pasture. Yeah, the chickens are on pasture for 35 days, right?
Okay.
So 5 weeks. Do 35 times 8 feet long. What number does that give you?
280.
280. So, thinking ahead, this is my kind of, I like to say my little bit of genius. I'll move the chickens towards the lane, and they're within 20 feet of the lane, and I can pull a truck or a trailer and have them be right there.
See, you remember in Salton's book, he's like, go out and set up the chickens, and they put all the chicken tractors, and then they're moving them uphill, and he yells at them and goes, what are you doing? put them there when there's no chickens, and then move them down the hill to where we're going to load them up anyways, right?
Yeah. So the
so it's perfect sense.
I just think that's one of the things I thought of when we were designing the lane. I said I want to make it to where the chickens end up right there, to where I can still drive on that, either on the side by side, and I can have the chicken crates ready to go, or you know, bring the truck out there or the Suburban, however we figure out how to load them, and then they're ready to go. So kind of thinking ahead.
Well, you need to. It causes the farmer when you plan it out in your head. Now, it might not. It's never always going to go right. Has it always gone right for you, Ryan? Everything you've planned, you've down to every. No, but make it as easy as possible on you. Starting at the top of the hill, working down, so you're pulling downhill. We're going to load there, so let's start on that side and go that direction. See, all of those things should play into the beginning of the system that you want to run on your farm, on your homestead.
And a couple more things about the design of this, okay? I wanted to tell me if you see any improvement. The open side facing east, that way they get the morning sun, so they wake up early and they start eating they start eating earlier. Okay, north, where the cold wind comes from here, is blocked off. They have a way to get out of the wind. West-ish is west and south is really where the storms come from. So that's also blocked off because you don't want them getting too wet and too cold. Anything else with this besides maybe hinges? I put hinges on the other one, and the hinges broke off from the thing. I might just not put them on good enough, and it cracked the vinyl. But
put this on the inside. Save you an inch or 2 inches on each side,
okay,
and it won't bow. And this gives, I think, when you put it inside like here, it gives it a stronger support.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
Now again, I'm not an expert. I haven't done this for 40 years. You know, I've done 100 whatever birds. That's just my experience. I think, Ryan, you did what, 100
100,
year and a half ago or something?
104.
104. Yeah,
processed 103.
You only lost one, as I remember from your videos. Right? Well done, you beat me. So you know, we've done between us a couple hundred birds. We've spent a season doing it. I staggered mine, so you know, I processed some in August with some help from others, and then September is when we did all the rest. And I tell you, there is nothing like getting your own experience. You can watch people, you can read about it, you can maybe even help, but when they're yours and it's all your responsibility, and maybe you have people helping you, which, you know, you always should, especially family, kids, get them involved. There's nothing like doing it yourself. Now, I will say to Ryan, he might be a little mad at me about this, so he might edit this out. But I will say to Ryan that he needs to process, even if it's just 25 chickens this next time, so he has that experience. Ryan, it really is cool.
Still a little bit too California for that.
So full disclosure, Ryan was born the same year as my third child. So I basically could be Ryan's dad, okay? I was born in California in the 1960s, okay? In the 1960s. Almost 30 years before Ryan was born. And he's saying it's too California for him? No, I did it. You can do it.
That's funny. But I can't tell you, Lars, how good it is to have another set of eyes out here, somebody that's actually done it before, because, you know, you can see all the stuff that you can on the internet, but when you have somebody who's, you know, made their own mistakes and can give you tips and pieces of advice actually on your land with your actual chicken tractor, I think it's absolutely invaluable. So big time thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I will add, because of what you just said there, Ryan, listen, I would teach my kids, I would tell my kids, let's go out today and make some mistakes, okay? You learn more from your mistakes, typically, than you do from your success. You do it right, you go, wow, okay, I did it right. Yeah, I'm smart, I did it right. You screw up 2 or 3 times, you learn a lot, and you got to fix it, and then you learn how to fix stuff too. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, and that's what I tell my kids. And thank you for saying, you know, we went out, we made a lot of mistakes, but we learned so much. And I know that you feel the same way. So thank you, Ryan, for letting me come out here to Texas and be with you. Northern Idaho, guys, right on the tip top, and I'm out in eastern Texas, right? East Texas. What are we, you know, how close are you to Oklahoma line?
About an hour.
So not too far south.
No.
You're east of Dallas.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, guys, it's going to take us 2 hours to get to the airport. Is that right? 2 hours to get to the airport?
Yes.
From your place? It's 2 hours to get to the airport from my place. Right? And yet this bond, this ability, this experience of coming and sharing and talking with Ryan, and you know, I had him up a few years ago when we were first bought Jake's Landing.
Beautiful.
And stuff, you know, there's a lot to be said for hands-on, face-to-face stuff, you know, if you can do it. And I'm grateful to him for being able to come out and spend some time with you. And you got beautiful cows, man. I just love your cows.
Gotta get you some Longhorns up in Idaho.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Rental land. There we go.